I call to order the City of Oroville Planning Commission meeting for April 23rd, which is continued from March 26th. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Durling. Commissioner Durling.
Yeah.
Commissioner Britton. Commissioner Chapman.
Here.
Commissioner Flicker.
Here.
Commissioner Jenkins.
Here.
And Commissioner Sears.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute and pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. And for anybody that would like to speak, we maybe have blue cards somewhere.
I think they're all applicants. Chairperson, we won't be using the blue speaker cards for the public, but we will make sure that the public, if there's anyone out in the public that wants to speak, that they can come up to the mic when it's during that time. I believe everyone in the room is an applicant, so they will have their item on the agenda.
Thank you. I guess everybody in here is an applicant, so public comments, there should be none.
We can go out really quick and check to make sure there's no comments.
Thank you. No public comments. We have no public comments. Moving to item 1, staff intro.
Yes, Commissioners, thank you. The item before you is to approve or deny an application for a new 4-story Hampton Inn and Suites at 2355 Feather River Boulevard. The hotel will occupy a 2.47 acre site behind the Starbucks and Panda Express off of Oroville Boulevard, with primary access along the existing driveway to Feather River Boulevard. Once built, it would be comparable in size and in height to the existing Holiday Inn Express. This project is 4 stories. The Holiday Inn Express is 3 stories, but the elevation of the ground floor is lower, so the actual visual will look about the same. Applicant has provided a site plan, preliminary designs, floor plans, landscape plans, a traffic and geotechnical engineering study. The use permit application also includes alcohol sales for on-site sales and consumption only. The signs in the application packet are conceptual signs and not the final designs, so the signs must come through before the Planning Commission at a later date when this specific site is designed. The project went to the Development Review Committee on March 18th, and Commissioner Sears attended along with all the department heads. The comments are in your packet. Would like you to note these proposed conditions. The city engineer is requiring all stormwater to be retained on site, so the drainage plan will be revised prior to building plan approval be submitted with building plans. The engineer is also asking the applicant to widen Feather River Boulevard and provide just widen it, the pavement on that side along the vacant frontage, and to taper the driveway in the public right-of-way. This would be between the ARCO and the fire hydrant on the vacant part of that side of Feather River. We note that this same requirement is in the Maverick conditions that the project was recently approved, and the city engineer plans to work with both applicants on who ends up designing and installing which of the improvements. A lot will depend on the timing of who goes first and some other factors. Another condition to remind the commission and the applicant, there's a 1% art fee, 1% of construction costs, and the applicant has a choice of installing the art themselves, designing it, or paying an in lieu fee. There will also be a landscape maintenance agreement, and the applicant has a draft to fill in and record prior to final occupancy. The applicant, Michael Merchant, is with us tonight to make a short presentation, and it is the engineering team connected via conference call.
For the project, yes.
Okay, and the civil engineer is available to answer any questions that might come up.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to make his presentation?
We have the slideshow loaded, yeah.
Tell you a little bit about our family. We've been in hotel business since 1993. Started very young and both married, and so we started very young and grew our business. So we have about 6 properties throughout the Central California and here in Sacramento area in Wesley. And we really like to invest and grow our business in a smaller community to create some synergy, some economy, and create jobs for the locals. So with that said in mind, we chose Oroville because I felt that was a perfect city to build our family tradition of business here. There's only one Holiday Inn Express in the town right now, and I feel the city can use another facility for the guests who are coming in, and those road warriors like PG&E and construction crews, they can use the new facility as well. So there's ample of business in this city for an additional 85, 86 room property. With that said, I wanted to share some slides with you. Do I get a ticker or somebody move it? Okay, yeah, you can just move it. Yeah, that's fine. So we choose Hilton brand Hampton Inn and Suites because Hampton Inn is like a beacon in hospitality industry. The guests love the property because they have really good mindset of what today's guests needs in the hotel room, not just necessarily going in the hotel, just check in and then go into your room. There's a lot of emphasis has been created by Hilton brand to have a socialization public area in the breakfast room, in the fitness room, in the lobby area. And if you most of our guests, the corporate guests are travelers. They're on the road for 2 to 5 days, 2 to 3 days. So when they are away from home, they wanted to make sure they also get some comfort level of the environment, and they should be able to do their work while they're on the road. So with that said, we have come up with we choose Hampton Inn and Suites for this location. Very contemporary buildings. This version of Hampton Inn Suite was just recently released in 2019, April of 2000. So this is the most recent version of prototype that we will be introducing here in Oroville. 86 room property. Next slide. So who are our guests? Like I said, our guests are individuals, corporate travelers, PG&E workers, construction workers, those road warriors. They work on different fields and different areas. Those are our workers. So, with those people in mind, because the loyalty program for Hilton brand is so robust, so important for our guests, that guests come to us by the name. As soon as we turn on those lights, the guests come because they know they will get a consistency, they will get their reward points, and they will see what they see in one Hampton Inn will be replicated the other Hampton Inn. So consistency is very important to in this time and age to our guests. So with that said, I think Hampton Inn is a great fit for this project. And obviously the leisure travel with moms and dad on the weekend are traveling with the kids for vacation, for sports team, and at the same time they wanted to be able to come back to the rooms and to public area where they can sit and relax, exchange views about different ideas, networking with other parents. The kids we want to make sure the kids have swimming pool for them. So after a really hard game of basketball, they want to jump in the pool. So we created all those synergy, really refreshing look that we have for Hampton Inn now. So if you want to move that to the slide. So if you see the prototype, if you're going to see, the guest room are very neutral color. They have all light color with some vibrant colors on focal walls and some pillows to just have create that little a new contemporary look. The outside building, the moment you come into the parking lot, you see a nice big Hampton Inn sign, the welcome sign, and that is something that is really create that really synergy. And then obviously we also take the local what's available in Oroville. So what we do, we put a sign in the welcome right at the check-in sign, welcome to Oroville in California. So it is right away shows to our guests where they are, and we create a lot of those artwork in public areas, with local pictures, and then we put those in the public area as well to kind of complement the local city as well. Am I taking too much time or not? This good? Okay. Next slide. So you will see that we can have a brand new building. We can have the best building. We have elevators. We have everything, but that building is no good if there's no customer service. Is people who are taking care of those guests are not there to help them. So Hampton Inn, Hilton brand has such a strong training program for our associates to make sure that there's a consistency and there's all the guests who are welcome. So with that said, we have charismatic employees that we hire, local employees that we create, and we make sure that we anticipate their arrival. So we have certain way of doing our check-in process with reservation. We call our guests by the name so they feel welcome about it. So we understand there's very many brands out there, but we wanted to go with Hampton because I think they're the key leaders in this hospitality industry, And again, if you're going to see on the pictures, it's pretty much from the time you come in the parking lot, you see a nice big Hampton Inn sign. They're all consistent, no matter where you go. You're going to see a friendly staff at the check-in, and then you see consistency in the public area. You'll have your 24-hour coffee. You will have your community table where you can sit and create a little friendly group. You can network with your coworkers. If you have a big family team or sport team, you can come and sit in the lobby, play those games, with the friends each other. So those kind of things, we create those things in mind and create this environment. Obviously, at nighttime, everything is closed. If you get a sweet tooth, if you want to eat some candy, we have a little sweet candy bar or sundries place that we have in the lobby 24 hours. You can come down for your snacks, soda, drinks, whatever, or if you have any necessities that you can also purchase from that as well. If you notice that we create this connectivity, a lot of our travelers these days, they have multiple devices. They have laptop, they have tablet, they have iPhone, they have other headphones. Looking for power sources is very, very important these days. We make sure we have those power sources throughout the public area. So if you're gonna see, if you wanted to have a nice quiet time, or if you have a meeting or a appointment, you can sit in this little nook area where you're not gonna be disturbed. Same thing goes in your room. We have technology now. If you have a Netflix account, if you have a Hulu account, whatever show that you left off at your home, you can come to our hotel and you can start from that on. So we have those capabilities, and those capabilities will be introduced to this hotel as well. And here's the picture of the refreshed guest room, what it will look like. I mean, if you see, you know, the it's personalizable, so you know it has has all the new contemporary furniture, colorful scheme. Public area, if you see, is nearly high ceilings, so it just create very appealing. And our breakfast area, we make sure that with the new trend that people looking for healthy product at the breakfast, we have a healthy pressed juice, green juice. We make sure that we get all those amenities for our guests. So I think those things is very, very important these days for the millennials who choose to be very careful with their diet, you know. So that is we have gluten-free varieties as well. And design style is very contemporary, very comfortable, yet at the same time is very functional, you know. And there's some overview picture of the public area and the guest room as well. You go to the next slide. There's one more. Yeah, there you go. I know I was going over here. I didn't realize that's sorry. Yeah, so that's. I mean, I think it's a beautiful. If you look at the nook over here, it's a really nice away from. If you have a meeting, you can create a small meeting. If you're on the road and you have the appointments, you can really make that very privacy. At the same time, you have the other side of the public area where if you have a big gathering, if you come back after work in the evening, you sit down and have a few drinks, you can bring your associates, sit down, have conversation over there at the same time. You know, so we have thought of a lot of those things in mind. The next slide have a really nice big breakfast. This is the first entrance when you come in the breakfast room. This is the cold press. This is new. We have a green juice, and we have all the other juices that you know are very healthy choices for the early morning breakfast persons. You know, a lot of gluten-free choices. I myself have some gluten allergies, so I love those choices that they have provided. You know. 24 hours coffee, I think that's a great thing. We have it. Like I say, the next slide over here. I'm sorry, go back. So here's, you know, at the nighttime, we have sundries where and we have necessities, health and products, you know. So there we have covered all the way of guests when they're away from their home. They should not be able to not have the same experience as if they were not at home, you know. So. And obviously, you know, the leisure side of it, we make sure that you are away from home, you're still doing your fitness. So your gym has full line of gym equipment, just like if you have gone to your own gym at your home place. We have a nice big swimming pool. And we have a nice relaxing environment by the jacuzzi. And that we also have, what do you call it, gazebo. Yeah, we will have set up a gazebo where you can sit down and have a little bit barbecue, especially those blue-collar workers. When they finish their work, they want to sit down, have a couple of drinks, they want to barbecue there. So we'll set up that area as well for them, you know. And this is a functional guest room. If you see, it's so contemporary, yet we have so many vibrant color. Just throw in the room that is just offset with the neutral bedding that we provide, you know. What's really important to the guest is a nice, clean, neutral color bedding. I don't know if you guys recall back in there, we used to have big bedspreads and colorful. Those things are, the trend has changed. People looking for nice, clean, they should be able to see where they're going to be going in. So those are sensitive touch points we know that, and we make sure that those sensitive touch points get attention, in our hotel room. And we hire interior designer, professional commercial interior designer who comes in, who gives us all these choices of colors, of scheme, what will work in Oroville, what will not work in Oroville. So they have a good idea of that. And then we go with that and we hire those designers. And then they come up with the ideas of the guest room, what they will look like. And this is the most sensitive area for anybody, your guest bathrooms, So we want to make sure we have ample of lights over there. We have lighted mirrors. We make sure that everything is all organized in a way that your towel for the bathroom, your towel for the vanity is all set up separately. So you don't have to run out of your shower and try to grab the towels. Small detail, we have taken care of it here, so. And here's just the final prototype from outside, how it's going to look on the top one, So when the building is complete, this is what the Oroville will get from us, so. Any question?
We might have some questions a little bit later from the commissioners.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. No cards.
Mr. Chairperson, we'll look and see if there's anyone that would like to speak.
Jackie,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, Carl.
Okay, the only thing I have on my screen is me.
To be able to see his screen show, I had to turn my camera off. Then I could see him, see all the stuff.
I couldn't see any of the stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't either. I had to turn my screen off on me. Turn me off. I still was a participant, but you just couldn't see my picture. But I could see the screen with the Hampton Inn presentation. That was the only way I could do it.
Okay, because I missed all of that.
Yeah.
So, Carl, I can email it to you after the meeting.
I think the only thing I see right now is me. My full screen is me. I don't have an option to do anything else.
Commissioners, and I apologize. We are having difficulties with this being the first time for our Planning Commission amid our current pandemic situation. I ask that you just please bear with us during this. It may end up just being audio only for the duration of this meeting. Jackie's doing what she can, but again, you may just have audio only for the duration of the meeting.
And I will reassure you that everyone can see all of you.
Yeah. Carl, next time we do a presentation, turn your camera off and see if it pops up.
You're talking about the button next to the...
The blue button that has like a little camera on it.
Yeah, turn that off.
That's the only way I could see the presentation.
Ah, okay.
Because then it took my camera away and was able to look at hers. And then as soon as they were done, I just hit it right back on. I was still there. You just couldn't see me.
Ah, okay.
That's a thought.
So are they continuing the meeting or what?
Sorry.
I'm going to close public hearing and limit the discussion between commissioners and staff. Do any commissioners have a question? Commissioner Sears does.
This is a question for Wes. Did all of the punch list get done from DRC, except for the things you mentioned tonight?
Not all of the punch list items are complete, but they will be on the punch list, which have to be complete prior to building plan approval and final occupancy, whichever is appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Flicker.
I just wondering, I know with a Maverick, we could not say yes or no. It was basically how, because they were allowed to do that. Is this something that we're allowed to say yes or no, or they're already allowed this permit because of their zoning. We're just saying how to do it.
This is a different situation from the Maverick one. A gas station and convenience store was allowed by right in the C2 zone where Maverick is. This zone, mixed-use commercial, requires a use permit for a hotel or a motel. So you, in your words, get to say yes or no to the entire project.
Okay, sorry it was so blatant, but I didn't know how else to ask.
Any other comments from commissioners?
I have a quick question. It mentions that they may want a 85-foot freestanding sign with other signage. Do they have any signage plan at all proposed? The signage on it?
The signage that they have provided is generic Hampton Inn signage. They will have to design specific signs for this property and submit them at a later time for your review.
Okay.
If there's no other questions, we're open for motion.
You got your mic.
I'll move approval of this project.
Is there a second?
We have a motion on the floor to approve the project. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Open for a vote.
All right, we're going to be doing a roll call vote. Commissioner Dearling?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, how do you vote?
I couldn't say it again. I couldn't understand you.
Commissioner Dearling, we have a motion and a second. Commissioner Sears made a motion, Commissioner Chapman second, and now we're voting. How do you vote?
Okay, I didn't hear the motion. Can you repeat the motion?
The motion is to approve the project
As presented.
and all of the items in the agenda.
I vote yes.
Everyone's absent. Commissioner Chapman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sears?
Yes.
Commissioner Flicker?
No.
And Commissioner Jenkins?
Yes.
The motion passes, 4 yeses, 1 no, and 1 absent.
Okay, we will move to agenda item number 2.
Mr. Chairman, may I suggest that we move to items 3 and 4 since the applicant representatives are here for that, and there appears to be nobody here other than the commissioners for item 3.
Is there a consensus from the commission to move items 3 and 4 up?
Yes. Me.
Does anybody object to moving items 3 and 4 up?
No.
No objections. We will move to item number 3 then.
Commissioners, this is the variance for the Maverick sign at 85 feet. At this point, it is important to mention that the Commission's February 27th approval of the Maverick project has been appealed by the owners of the Arco Gas and Mini Mart across the street. They've appealed it on 3 bases. One is that the public notice was inadequate because it did not mention alcohol permit. And you heard that discussion at the last meeting. The city attorney believes that the public notice was in fact adequate. Second, that the project will create more competition for gasoline and convenience store sales, which will harm existing businesses. And 3, that alcohol sales will be an attractant to the existing homeless concentration in the area. We note that the homeless encampment is no longer there. It's been moved out as part of the police POP enforcement program. This appeal will be heard on the May 5th at the City Council. It's already on the agenda. Staff is recommending denial of the appeal. So items 3 and 4 will be subject to the council's ruling on the appeal. So assuming the appeal is denied and the project approval stands, this item is before you for approval. As you recall, the commission approval on February 27th included an 85-foot high freestanding sign subject to a variance if necessary. It turns out that the city attorney has confirmed that a variance is the appropriate approval for this sign, so it's provided here so that the commission's prior action can become official. The applicant's sketch or design that is provided is the same sign exactly, only with an 85-foot height instead. So Mike Michaels and John are here from Sierra View to answer any questions you might have, but staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Is there anything the applicant would like to say at this moment?
Who are you asking?
The applicant speaking, and then I'll move it to commissioners.
Good evening, Commissioners. Mike Michaels with Cartwright NorCal Civil Engineering. Happy to be here representing Maverick tonight for this item. I'll keep this brief. I think we last met at the end of February. And just wanted to say we appreciate the efforts, the coordination, the communication, and assistance provided by both staff and the commission over this time and kind of keeping the city moving forward. And thank you. I've had a chance to review the staff report with Rick Magnus and the fine folks at Maverick, and just want to let you know that we're in concurrence with the findings and in agreement with the conditions as set forth tonight. And just ask that you approve this. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this matter? No one from the public to speak on this. We'll close the public hearing. Discussion between commissioners. Is there any questions that anyone has or comments from the commission?
Yes, I have.
I believe Carl was first, and then Commissioner Flicker. Go ahead, Carl.
Okay. If you look at the two photos, viewing the sign from the freeway, the one southbound and northbound, I'm looking right now at the southbound view, and you can see the sign very clearly, and I assume that's the 85-foot elevation. Is that right?
That is correct. I compared this photo simulation with the prior ones, and they have adjusted the height of the sign, so this is the 85-foot height.
Okay. If you look at that photo, there's a tree, large tree, in the way of the sign. Yes, there is. But if that tree wasn't there, and you lowered the sign to 60 feet or 65 feet or whatever, it would still be at that height, clearly visible southbound on the freeway prior to the exit on the Oroville Boulevard. So to me, that if you lowered it, if you lowered it to 65 feet, the tree then would be in the way of the sign. And my question is, who owns the tree, and is it possible to cut it down or out of the way, or are we approving 85-foot tall sign simply because there's a tree in the way? That's what bothers me. To me, now if you look at it southbound, northbound rather, view, where the photo is taken, if it was lower than 65 feet, you can still see the sign.
Carl, I can respond to this. This is Wes. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
The trees are in the Caltrans right-of-way, so they are the responsibility of Caltrans to maintain. And if they cut them down, the city has no control over that. The 85 feet in the discussion at the last meeting had to do with the other signs in the region also already being approved at 80 or 85 feet. So that was part of the discussion at the last meeting as well. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, apparently, I'm talking to staff now, no one looked into talking to Caltrans to see if that tree could be removed. I assume that didn't take place.
That's correct. That did not take place.
The closer that the sign, any sign, is to the freeway, the less height is needed to see it. And so really, again, if you're looking at the sign on the northbound photo and lower that sign to 65 feet, you could still see it, in plenty of time to get off the freeway. So what I'm basically saying is I have a problem with the 65-foot or the 85-foot tall sign. To me, 65 might be too low, but 70 feet or whatever, a different height, less than the 85, would be acceptable. But I have a problem with the 85-foot tall sign. That's my comment. I'm going to turn my speaker off.
I had a question relating to his.
Commissioner Flicker?
I don't have a problem with the 85 like we had discussed. I do realize they want to be able to see it way back from the freeway. My issue is, and I don't think I remember it being talked about, the maximum sign area. They want 472, that exceeds it. I mean, this is quite a very large sign. We talked about the height, but I don't remember us talking about how big of a sign before.
The sign area was in the staff report previously, and it was noted in the staff report that it is larger, but it was not discussed at the time that it is larger than allowed in the sign ordinance.
I know we have a lot like McDonald's and other ones that height, but is there anybody else such a large sign?
I agree with you. That was going to be my other comment after we talked about the height. I have a problem with the area of the sign, but my question for staff is, does that sign conform to an ordinance, or is this a variance, not just for the height, but for the sign area? Because the way that the public notices only has to do with the height.
Commissioner Sears wants to weigh in on this.
Okay, I might be able to help out here. Part of the reason that the sign is so large is that it will have an area for a future tenant.
Yeah, I understand that. But but I'm talking about the sign that's advertising, it's not in conformance with the area allowed the self-focus.
I'm getting every other word, Carl.
Is this better?
I hope.
The basic question is, does the area of the proposed sign meet the requirements of the sign ordinance? And I'm just talking about the Maverick portion of the sign.
Wes is looking into it.
My recollection is that the Maverick portion of the sign shown here, the top Maverick portion without the fuel price, is 256 square feet, which is less than the 300 square feet that would be allowed for just that portion of the sign.
Okay, so the square footage isn't an issue then, but it's the height, and I have a problem with the height. It seems like when we were reviewing it, that they had alternative heights, and which I think was 65 feet, but that's not included in the staff report or the presentation.
85 is
Am I
the
wrong there?
alternative.
This 85 feet is a outcome of the Planning Commission's discussion of the last meeting at which I believe, Carl, you were not in attendance at that one.
They wanted 100.
But they had asked for 100 feet, and the Planning Commission approved 85 feet at the time. So this variance is required in order to finalize approval of the 85-foot sign.
Okay. That's the only comment I had.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners? We are open to a motion.
Okay. I will move approval of items 3 and 4, subject to appeal at the City Council on May 5th.
So the Sears has made a motion to approve item 3 and 4 on the agenda, subject to the decision of the council on May 5th. Is there a second?
May I
I'll second it.
clarify, there also has to be a public hearing on item 4 as well, as a tentative parcel map. So
Just
if
item
we
3.
could handle that separately, that would.
Okay, so this is item 3.
Would you like
Yes.
to
So-
rephrase that, or?
So the motion has been revised to only approve item 3. Does the seconder and motioner agree to that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so Commissioner Durling. Yes.
Yes.
Chapman.
I saw his mouth move, but I
Okay.
didn't hear it.
Chapman, we didn't hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Sears.
Yes.
Flicker.
Yes.
And Commissioner Jenkins.
Yes.
So we have a 5 votes for yes, 1 absent, so the motion carries. And again, the motioner was Sears, the seconder was Flicker.
Item number 4.
Item number 4 is a tentative parcel map that was initially submitted with the original package, but the city engineer asked for more time to review and add conditions. So as proposed initially, it is here for your approval. It splits the single lot into 2, and the westernmost lot is available for a future commercial tenant.
Does the applicant have anything they'd like to say on this?
Again, Mike Michaels with Cartwright, NorCal Civil Engineering. Just as with items number 3, we've reviewed the staff report and the findings and the conditions and concur with them. Great.
Thank you. We'll open the public hearing. Looking for any public comment? No public comment. Close the public hearing. Discussion between commissioners and staff. Does anyone have questions or comments? For item 4?
I had a question.
Go ahead, Carl.
Is this just for a parcel map, not a lot line adjustment?
It's a tentative parcel map to split a single lot into 2 lots.
I understand the parcel map part, but I thought in earlier discussions there was supposed to be a lot line adjustment also. If that's not the case, then it's fine.
There, previous to the Maverick project, there were 4 or 5 different parcels in this area, including this parcel, which were subject to a lot line adjustment. That lot line adjustment was approved and recorded prior to the Maverick application being submitted. So this splits one of those lots that were created into 2.
All right. I know that it had been already approved, and so that answers my question. So I don't have a problem with the parcel map. With the parcel map.
Are there any other questions or comments from commissioners? Seeing none, we'll open for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the tentative parcel map 20-10.
I'd second.
20-01.
Does that also adopt resolution P 2020-04?
Yes, -04.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay.
I second it.
Please open voting.
Commissioner Durling,
Yes.
Commissioner Chapman,
Yes.
Commissioner Sears,
Yes.
Commissioner Flicker,
Yes.
Commissioner Jenkins.
Yes.
The vote passes, 5 yeses and 1 absent.
All right, we will move to agenda night item number 2.
Thank you, Commissioners. The item before you involves annexing a 14.2 acre notch in South Oroville that was not previously annexed with the rest of South Oroville in 2015. It is contiguous to the city limits on the north and on the west. This action has been requested by staff to make the area eligible for city programs and services, such as the ongoing effort now to revitalize South Oroville and to enhance police protection. In particular, we think that the rescue mission that exists there now could benefit from being inside city limits. The area is within Oroville's sphere of influence, and all parcels have been pre-zoned per the map that you have. No zoning or land use changes are proposed, and the parcel makeup is a mix of existing residential and commercial uses, which would not change. Note that the residential uses now zoned mixed use by the county would become mixed use, neighborhood mixed use, which would continue to encourage commercial and mixed-use development in the area. No changes are proposed to public service providers. The El Medeo Fire District would still serve that area. All parcels are already in County Service Area 17, which all South Oroville parcels also contribute to, which is a escrow fund, a fund for street lighting and for sidewalk maintenance and alleyways. There is a standing agreement between the city and county for tax sharing for all small annexations. So henceforth, if this went through, the city would start getting 58% of the property tax that's generated in this area. Not mentioned in the staff report is a 5% utility tax, which the owners of the parcels are not paying now and which they would begin to pay after annexation. That tantamount is the study that was done prior to the utility tax coming into being, estimated that each parcel would pay about $350 a year for the utility tax. This action, we are asking for a recommendation from the Planning Commission that would go to the City Council for the actual annexation vote, and then application submittal to LAFCO for them to review the annexation and move forward with it.
Thank you. So are we going to look for, well, does this need to be a public hearing, or is this?
No, it does not need to be a public hearing, since you will only be making a recommendation to the council where the public hearing would be held.
Okay. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments?
No.
Do we need to have a motion for this or a consensus?
I believe just a motion to recommend the council.
A motion to recommend. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Are we making the motion or a recommendation?
The motion is a recommendation.
A motion, yeah, a motion to recommend this to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, first we adopt the categorical exemption and then adopt the resolution.
So the resolution was placed on the agenda as a mistake. And so on my end, because we put the agenda out a month ago, we weren't able to remove that off of the agenda, but we're only looking for an adoption of the Class 19 category exemption and then to forward the recommendation, I believe.
There doesn't even, from my understanding, there doesn't need to be an adoption. It's just forwarding this recommendation to the City Council. The Planning Commission did not need to hear this, from my understanding of it, but we brought it to you as a form of transparency.
So would anyone like to make a motion to forward this to City Council?
I'll move. So we recommend this to move forward to council.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Please open voting.
All right. Commissioner Durling,
Yes.
Commissioner Chapman,
Yes.
Commissioner Sears,
Yes.
Commissioner Flicker,
Yes.
Commissioner Jenkins.
Yes.
The vote passes, 5 yeses, 1 absent.
And director's report.
So I will provide the director's report this evening. We have just a few items that are on our plate right now. AT&T is proposing to extend or to raise the Verizon tower behind the hospital 34.5 feet. The Planning Commission originally denied this back in 2013. but it was appealed to City Council and later approved. So they're coming back to raise this tower. Also, there's an application being reviewed for the Ruddy Creek subdivision. This is the subdivision that was approved in 2007. The current owner of this parcel is redesigning this at the moment, and it's the subdivision is north of the airport at Feather and 18th Streets. And this will require annexation, and this is to come before the body in May or June. This commission also approved the 120-unit Riverview Affordable Apartments. This is at the corner of Nelson and Table Mountain Boulevard. The applicant is now in phase 2 of this design, which will add 48 units to that development. But this development is contingent upon the approval of a $17 million grant. Additionally, and the grant's from the Strategic Growth Council. Additionally, as the quarantine begins to ease from COVID-19, staff will begin to schedule a workshop for the sign ordinance. Excuse me. Additionally, we have a general plan amendment that we are beginning to rezone parcels and safety element updates. That's going to begin soon. This will include the rezone of 6.5 acre parcel behind the city's corporation yard to be veteran housing. And we're trying to complete the preparation of 2 other ordinances, the shopping cart ordinance at the request of council, and the new sidewalk vendor ordinance. The state law prohibits the banning of this, but authorizes local governments to regulate it. And also, we're in the process of updating our municipal services review in order to support the desired sphere of influence update. And this will also need to take place for our proposed annexations coming in the future. So just a few items that we're working on, or Wes is diligently working on. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Are there any reports by any commissioners? None? Okay, I guess that sums us up. I have Thursday, April 26th on my sheet. What's the date?
May 26th?
I think May 28th.
We will adjourn to Thursday, May 28th at 6 p.m. Thank you.